All right, let's get to take your pick number one. Both tight ends are expected to play major roles in the Super Bowl on Sunday. Travis Kelce's receiving prop is 61.5, while Dallas Goedert's is set at 51.5. So, Chelsa, take your pick. Kelce over, Goddard over, both over, or neither.
This is a tough one. I definitely am taking the over on Dallas Goedert. He's been a staple for the receiving core. He has been the favorite target on third downs. And plus the matchup is great. Kansas City has been soft against tight ends all season long. That one's tough. Like, do you really want to take an under on somebody who has been such a juggernaut in the postseason? I don't really. Maybe Travis Kelce is not as fast as he used to be, but he's still a big guy and still a tough matchup for just about any secondary. And why would you not lean on your security blanket that's been through, it feels like the entire Super Bowl run and dynasty that Patrick Mahomes has had. So I'm definitely going Goddard over. Kelce, I'll lean over as well.
You know what? I think I'm going to go both over here. So I feel like I'm making so many square plays, but ultimately we've seen this time and time again when it comes to Travis Kelce. He steps up, and late in the game, who is Patrick Mahomes going to look for? If he needs to look for someone, he's going to go to the guy he always goes to. He's going to look for Travis Kelce. And that's just the way it's been. That's the way the Chiefs win Super Bowls. They win championships. They've been in this spot before. And as for Dallas Goedert, I know this number keeps going up, but Kansas City does allow a lot of yardage to tight ends. And as the postseason has gone on, we've seen the Eagles utilize Dallas Goedert a whole lot. This is one of the first bets I placed. The most bet player prop at BetMGM, which makes me a little nervous, but I'm going to go both over.
I'm going to agree with you both. It's both over for me as well for all the reasons that you both already said. All right, let's go to take your pick number two. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls in his career, both of them over the New England Patriots. He is now one of the 15 finalists for induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He will find out tonight if he is in, but let's decide right now. So, Jenks, take your pick. Eli Manning in or out of the Hall of Fame?
Oh, in, easily. Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. Now, first of all, he's a Manning, and that counts for something. You may not like it. You may say, well, that shouldn't be a criteria, but he's a Manning. They are football royalty. You hear the name Manning, you see the name Manning, you think football, you think great quarterbacking, so that's a part of it. Secondly, Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls. There are only 13 quarterbacks in NFL history, and there have been hundreds of starting quarterbacks in NFL history. Only 13 have ever won at least 2 Super Bowls. Eli is one of them. All of those guys are in the Hall of Fame except for one. That's Jim Plunkett, and Jim Plunkett's numbers compared to Eli's don't compare. Eli was a 4-time Pro Bowler, and his numbers are way better than Plunkett's, even though you can make an argument for Jim Plunkett being in the Hall. And finally, Eli beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice. And when you beat the GOAT twice in a Super Bowl, that is massive because so few players have ever been able to do that. But Eli did it twice. He is a no-brainer Hall of Famer.
I think so as well. It boils down to the Super Bowls, does it not? This is what we always say about quarterbacks. It's say, how many rings has he won? Eli Manning has 2 of those. And like Jenk said, it was against Tom Brady in an era where Tom Brady looked unbeatable. Hell, they beat him the season where they were undefeated going into the Super Bowl. So I feel like that definitely goes into the context for Eli Manning. And plus, he had a long career as well. He wasn't somebody who was just, a couple seasons. Had 57,000 yards in the NFL. So I think Eli Manning, slam dunk, to use a basketball phrase.
It amazes me the disrespect that Eli Manning gets just because he isn't quote unquote Peyton. So yes, absolutely, he is in as a Hall of Famer without a shadow of a doubt. Take your pick number 3. If Kansas City is able to win the Super Bowl, they would be the first to win 3 straight Super Bowls and the first NFL team to win 3 straight titles since Green Bay in the mid-60s. The last MLB three-peat was the Yankees from 96 to 2000. The NBA, it was the Lakers from 2000 to 2002. And the last time in the NHL was the Islanders in the early 80s. So, Chelsa, take your pick. Which three-peat would be the most impressive?
I think I would go with Kansas City. Think about the sport that has the most parity. And I know it's difficult to say that when we get Kansas City in the Super Bowl, each of the last 3 years in the new Kansas City Invitational. But still, when you look at baseball, like the salary issues and the fact that the Yankees can just outspend people, I think that kind of stands out to me. It's different in the NFL because the salary cap's a little different. I don't know too much about the NHL, so I don't think I can speak on that one. But the Lakers was pretty damn impressive as well. But those are 7-game series, when it comes to the NBA final. So in the NFL, it's lose one game, you go home. I think I'm going to go with, if Kansas City wins it again, that three-peat would be the most impressive in all of sports.
I will agree with you. Yeah, I feel the same way. When it comes to the NHL, that's impressive because the Isles won. Didn't they win 4 straight? Yeah, I think that's right. They were unbelievable. But also the NHL was really top-heavy back then because your blue liners, your defensemen, they were just brawlers essentially. And now you have super talented guys on the back end who can also score. So not to take anything away from the Isles, that was an incredible run. The Yankees were outspending everyone like you talked about. Oh, what's happening now? All of a sudden they can't outspend everyone, and then look what's happening now. All of a sudden you've got more competition. What the Lakers did was incredible, but also there's a lot more, again, kind of like the NHL, the NBA was more top-heavy back then. The Chiefs are definitely the answer because football has a salary cap. There's more parity than ever. And also, there's so much more injury risk in football than any other sport. And that's, to me, that's the great equalizer here. Because if Joe Burrow tears his ACL and is done for the season, your season's over. You're not winning a Super Bowl. So all it takes is one injury to one of your key players, and it can just derail everything. One play. And it's really unlike that in any other sport because football is so violent. And there's a reason why we have never seen this in the Super Bowl era. So if the Chiefs do it, that's definitely the most impressive. Got to be Kansas City.
I'm going to agree with you both. Players, this generation of players are meaner, faster, stronger. You're dealing with free agency. You're dealing with all the things, the salary cap, all these things, tie into why it is such a parity in the NFL. So for me, yeah, if the Chiefs three-peat, for the love of God, yes, it's the greatest three-peat of all time.
Yeah, look at the Niners. Weren't they in the Super Bowl last year? Look at how far they have fallen. They were in the Super Bowl last year, right? I feel like I have to double check that because they went, the injuries matter so much, like you guys said in the NFL. So you almost have to have some injury luck. You have to have a really good team. You have to have a really good head coach. You have to have an otherworldly quarterback. So they haven't done it yet, though. So we'll see.